So much for hopping on. I am so excited, just so excited. We have a very special guest on here tonight, and I cannot wait to hear her tips. And she's going to pour into you guys for a little bit, tell you guys about her story. So, Lauren, are you on here?
I'm here.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm in my sweatpants and like dirty hair too. So
Okay. Well,
I got the memo. We're good.
Okay. Well, you make me feel a little better about myself, although you're over there rocking the makeup and I am not.
You look great.
All right, you guys. So like I said, I'm super pumped to be on here. Lauren, this is our 1%. This is pretty much like a push group that we're doing. And so all these people are just doing all the necessary tasks to be able to be in here. This is really special for us. And so thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight.
I love that. What a cool incentive. Congrats, you guys.
So, all right, Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business and just all of the things.
Sure. So, hi, you guys. My name is Lauren Ravan, but I will answer no matter how you say my last name. I've heard it all of the different ways and spelled all of the different ways. But my 3-year anniversary with the business will be the 27th of this month, which is crazy. It still feels like yesterday to me. Before it works, we owned a home-based bakery externally. It looked like our business was great. We were booming. I was always overbooked to the point of where I literally worked overnights on Friday. I don't mean an overnight, like an 8-hour shift overnight. I mean a 24-hour stretch, sometimes longer than that. And the reason for that is because the more I could produce, the more money we made. And to be honest, it still wasn't enough. I had 10 years of experience working in retail management and recruiting for large retail stores, but I missed the majority at the beginning of my daughter's life, and I was not willing to go back to that. I was willing to do whatever it took to figure out a different path, and that ended up being a home-based bakery for me is what I thought. But we were living paycheck to paycheck. We argued about money all of the time, gas, groceries, all of those things were going on credit cards. Things were defaulting. We were, cutting off necessities, but no one on the outside necessarily knew. It was tax season, and I had heard from a friend that the It Works cleanse was where it was at. I was one of those people. I didn't watch journeys, you guys. I didn't silently listen to people's live videos. I didn't creep on opportunity events. I didn't talk to people and then ghost them. I was not even willing to entertain the idea. That's how ignorant I was. So I was like a block and remover kind of girl. So I had to unblock a lady that I used to work for her as a fitness instructor. So I knew that she was a legitimate human being. She wasn't a complete scam artist, and that she would probably tell me the truth about said cleanse. I reached out. Long story short, I knew we had $36 for back then the cleanse was $36. 39 now, y'all. But it was $36 back then. And I knew that I had that extra because we had our tax income check coming. But my throat sank, or like I got a big lump in my throat, and my heart sank when she told me about the loyal customer program. Because not that I don't want to do the 90-day program, you guys. I want you to think about this for a minute. It's because I wasn't sure if I'd have the money in my account the next month. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It wasn't that I didn't want the products. I was terrified that it was going to decline. She was going to know, and then people would know that what we were living in and what we were working with. And so I ghosted her. That's what I was going to do. Just ignore her and pretend like it never happened. But she came back and said, hey, I just wanted to check in. Were you wanting to try the cleanse and get results as a customer, or you wanting to try the cleanse and making some extra money, or make some extra money as a distributor? We had never talked about the business, y'all. I didn't really know what she was involved in, but something just came over me in that moment, and I was like, yes. Didn't know what I was saying yes to. We didn't have $36 for the cleanse, but I knew that if I didn't take that leap of faith in that moment and spend $99 on myself, that I would never be in a different place. I was already working as hard as I possibly could. I was already doing as much as I possibly could. I had grown our bakery as much as I could with my own 2 hands. And I was just between a rock and a hard place. So I thought if I could just make enough extra to A, cover the cost of this cleanse, I'm happy. B, she told me I could make an extra $213 a month as an executive. And I thought, holy moly, that would mean I could sleep on Friday nights. If I could just be an executive, I could sleep on Friday nights. And that was my goal. So I jumped right in. I was the pure definition of ignorance on fire. E-Suite, training looked a lot different back then. Three years is not that long, but you're like, back in that day, it was so different, you guys. We didn't have the resources that we have now. E-Suite was down. We used to have something called a training academy. They were redoing that. And there were no training videos. Thank goodness, like I knew how to use Google though. And I'm a red personality, didn't ask a lot of questions. There wasn't like this new distributor checklist or anything like that. I just Googled and would listen to Zooms. When you're a baker, you're working with both hands at all times. I wasn't sitting at a desk and able to check my phone. Social media was not a current part of my everyday life. There were days that I would not go on social media because I'd be that busy. As opposed to a lot of people are telling us they're too busy now, but they're on their phone telling you they're too busy, right? So I knew that if I could just figure out a way to make it happen, then it could really be a blessing for our family's life. So I put my head down. I got to work. I was working really hard to go executive, and I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how many people I needed. But I just talked to as many as I could, and I applied whatever I was told to do. It took me 3 weeks to sign my first distributor, but y'all, I went diamond 39 days into the business. I earned a $10,000 bonus, and I'm giving you those dates because I want you to hear that. I want you to know that, like, if you think you're too far away right now because the more bonuses end at the end of this month, and you're like, I don't have a distributor, I don't have a chart, I don't have anybody working, I want you to hear those dates. It took me 3 weeks, but 39 days is the mark where I went diamond. So from 21 days to 39 days, my business radically changed. And I earned a $10,000 bonus is what it was then. The following month, I promoted to double diamond. I earned the $25,000 bonus, and my husband's account, the $10,000 bonus. Our lives obviously radically started to change. 9 months later, I promoted to triple diamond and my husband's account to double diamond. And then the following year from that, we promoted to presidential and my husband's account to triple. And then this month, we just earned a reload. We earned $6,000 worth of reload bonuses. So I just want to share with you guys, it doesn't matter where you're starting from, what your story is, where you're at right now, what your chart looks like right now. It can radically change in a small amount of time if you're just willing to believe in it and put your head down and get to work. So that's my story. We're done now, right? That was it.
Oh my gosh. If we were done right now, like it would just, I mean, that was amazing, not Noel.
Yeah, no, that was so good. Oh my gosh, Lauren, like I am just, okay, so I have a couple of things that really stood out to me. Like you literally had to unblock your sponsor and track her down. And like the first thing that came to my mind when you said that is that what if she would have quit the business?
Yep.
Like that just blew my mind right there. Like what if she would have quit the business already and she would have been like, oh, well, I don't even know. Like, I don't do it anymore. It didn't work out for me. You can check it out if you want to, but like, I don't know. Like, I just gave up. Like, what would you have done? Would you like, I mean, I feel like God specifically like had this business ready for you, ready and waiting for you. And thank God your sponsor like was still there because so many people quit before they actually have that rock star that comes into their business that changes the total trajectory of their future. So I think that is so huge. But the other thing, like you were a baker, you had no time to be making phone calls, posting, messaging people on social media. So what did that look like for your business? Like you said, like you're absorbing information hands free, but like what did that look like tangibly on a day-to-day work basis when you were doing that?
Yeah, so I had to be highly intentional. And so I told you guys that I think one of the like major advantages that I had very early on, although I didn't have a ton of time on my device, I would listen to Zooms on like repeat. I would go into YouTube and the very first thing that I ever like searched, I think was like how to go executive or steps to success or something really simple like that. And you know how it'll play one after another. And so I would just listen to them over and over and over again. And although I used to tell my husband, I was like, I wish they would just tell me tangibly what to do. They all just keep talking about belief. They just keep saying, if you just believe it. And I'm like, I just don't want them to tell me exactly what to do. And then it was kind of like this unlock, like, okay, like I just need to believe it and then do these simple activities. So anyway, that being said, I think that instilled a very large belief in me early on, because I heard from so many different people, different walks of life, who had achieved or gone where I wanted to go. But in regards to intentionality, another video that I watched early on was Eric Worre, who is just a professional with network marketing. I didn't know any difference or to search specifically social media. And so he has a really old school teaching of a hundreds list, like physically taking a piece of paper, writing out a hundreds list, reaching out to them. You guys, it was god awful. I sent like the worst, longest messages, made the most awkward phone calls. But I was just highly intentional with those people that I reached out to initially. I always tell people this. I asked literally 100. That's how like literal I took it. And initially I reached out to them all about the business. I didn't know what I was doing. I was listening to Eric Worre. Why that's significant is because all 100 of them ignored me or told me no. And then today, functioning my business, 98 of them are customers or distributors within our team. So again, that goes back to like, what if you would have quit? What if I would have let those 100 people determine this isn't for me? But I didn't. All of that was actually off social media. I was very prideful early on. I was really nervous about sharing with my community about what I was doing or why I was doing it. So it took me some time to be willing to share and tell my story. But in regards to intentionality, I was afraid of doing live videos, but I knew that it would give me more bang for my buck than just a random post thrown out in there. So I did live videos early on when I was scared, because I knew it was a guarantee that I could get in front of someone, as opposed to a post. It's like a billboard on a highway, you guys. Like, might get seen by some people, but I felt more in control if I could get in front of them. Other people that were part of like a warm market, again, if they were interested on a post or within a message, I hate talking on the phone, but this was about maximizing time for me back then. To this day, like, I don't like to get people on the phone, but back then, if there was any interest, I would get them on the phone right away. And here's the main reason why: because I could talk to them on speaker while I was piping cookies or while I was icing a cake. And I could walk them through or talk about whatever was going on while I was doing that. And I didn't have to worry about, like, how many of you guys will talk to someone. I have a girl right now on Instagram. Like, we were talking, we get to the loyal customer program. She saw the message. She's probably putting her kids to bed, but I don't know. Now we're in that awkward, like, 20-minute limbo. I'm like, did I scare her? Did she die? I don't know. But if I can get them on the phone, we don't have that awkward time, and I'm not wasting 20 minutes checking my phone in between. Yes. So I had to make decisions that were very uncomfortable for me, still very uncomfortable for me, but it was about the sacrifice of my comfort for that short term to know that it would pay off, to kind of like catapult my, my results or my efforts further in the long run. And then sometimes, you guys, like, I had to get up earlier or I had to stay up later, and I was already doing that. But I was going to always be doing that if I wasn't willing to do that little bit different at the time. Like, if I was already up till 3 a.m., then what the heck was 3:30? Like, why not? Or if I was getting up at 6, some of y'all who were like, are getting up at 6, and you're like, I don't want to get up at 5. That's fine. Keep waking up at 6 for the rest of your life, because guess what time I wake up now? Whenever I want to. So it was worth it. It was worth it to me to take those small sacrifices and knowing, like, this hurts right now, but it's going to be worth it, and it's going to pay off.
Girl, it's rocking my world, because I know my team's on here laughing right now, because I literally just had this conversation with them in our group chat earlier, because I went live, talked to Noelle earlier, went live on my page, sold 4 keto coffee samples, like the new Skinny Brew samples, and literally I've already signed one customer. I'm about to sign another customer, and I'm like, go live. I used to hate, guys, I'm telling you, hate going live. Like, my first few live videos, I'm like, I look back at them now and I'm like, oh my God, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. But it's normal. But it comes where that's where the growth comes, is when you step outside of your comfort zone. And Lauren, am I right? You're going to be so uncomfortable,
Absolutely. Right? I still am, you guys. Like, I did a live earlier, and I'm going to tell you something crazy. Like, in the moments that you are really like, no, I can't right now. Like, my hair is dirty. The house is a mess. The dog's going to bark. Like, in those moments, I swear it's the devil, y'all. Like, when those, like, fears get louder, do it anyway. do it anyway. Because like I did it today because I was like, I feel behind. I was sick yesterday. I feel behind. And what is the way, like if I'm like, okay, how can I catapult my business forward? It's like a slingshot, you guys. A live video is like a stinking slingshot. So if you're making posts, and so that's what was happening to me. I'd made stories, I'd made posts about samples, and I wasn't moving the needle where I wanted to. It wasn't moving me fast enough, just like Brittany said. So I made the executive decision, like, to do something about it.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I don't want to. My pits are sweaty. My hair is dirty. I don't look cute, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to feel the fear, and I'm going to do it anyway. And there's just something empowering that comes with that too. Like, even though you're scared, you walk away like with maybe just a hair more confidence, but you're like, okay, like I
can do that.
I can do this.
Yes, I can do that. And so, guys, get out of your comfort zone, go live. It doesn't matter if it is doing a fat fighter demo or it's making your coffee or you're just talking about your day. Guys, that's why most of the time, I'll be honest, I don't have makeup on. I'm just myself. And I'll tell you, the biggest compliment that I ever got is when, okay, it was so funny because Lauren was talking earlier about like back in the day, 3 years ago. Well, girl, talk about 8 years ago. Talk about like way back in the day. But anyways, we did the Man Dare. You guys probably remember the Man Dare a few years ago. And when we did the Man Dare, of course, my husband and I were going to do like, you know, some of the workouts and stuff. And so one day I got on there and I did some push-ups and some sit-ups, and my kids were raising straight hell in the background. Like, it was insane. I was like, oh my gosh, I look like that mom right now. It was so bad. But do you know how many messages I got from people that were like, can I just let you know that was my favorite live video that you've ever done, because it showed me that your life is not perfect and that this stuff that you do is not rehearsed and that you are a real person. So don't think you have to have makeup on. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I have probably went live without a bra on.
Oh, I have. No, I mean, I will wear something loose.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not just going to wear like a white t-shirt or something without a bra on, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So, guys, get out of your comfort zone. Go live. It's only 9:30 or 9:20 when we get off here. Go live later, because you may not get a ton of prospects your first time, but guess what? You are planting those seeds. And at the end of the day, people are going to buy you before they buy your products and before they join your business. So let them see the real you, and eventually you will get comfortable with going live.
Yeah, and you guys, I want to say one other thing, not for this to be like a total tangent on going live, but I hope if you take anything away from this, you're like, okay, maybe I should go live. One of the things that really specific back to the question of like, why did you do that early on, or how did you choose to work your business? So you guys, one of the reasons why I think I was so turned off by network marketing is I had this like, you know, sleazy car salesman mindset in my mind. I'm thinking pyramid scheme. I got the vibe of like cold messaging, and I was like, I don't want to be that person. And because I didn't want to be that person, I was adamant from the beginning, like to be the change that I wanted to see, you know? And the only way I was going to be able to do that was to get really loud about it. And I knew that how many of you guys have friends that are other network marketers, or maybe like in your circle that or in your town that aren't even on your downline or whatever, and you're like, well, there's so many people in my town, or all my friends have already heard of it, or whatever, right? We all have those excuses. I knew that if I could go live, like, people were gonna know that I was serious. Like, I may not have known what I was talking about, but I was serious in what I was doing. I was not going to drop off the face of the planet in a hot minute. I wasn't going to quit if it, you know, flaked out or whatever. So although there may have been 30 other distributors in their network, it was my job to decide that when they had a financial or health need, that I was the one that they thought of. And so you have to step into that empowerment of your own business. Like, what are you willing to do to make sure that you're the one that they think of? And if, you know, someone's thinking, okay, well, I've got Noelle and I've got Brittany, and they both post all the time, but man, Brittany, like, she's all the time up in some videos talking about some stuff, and I think she might know what she's talking about. So I'm going to message Brittany and I'm going to ask her some questions. And people pay attention to things like that, you guys. People really pay attention to that. And it shows just how credible you are in your business.
That's so good. And you got, I mean, I went live earlier today and I literally talked about drugs by accident, because I feel like the Skinny Brew makes me feel like I'm on crack. And I literally was like, but just disclaimer, like I've never done drugs. And then I started talking about drugs and I was like, I'm really not this person. But like, you guys, I sold like 7 samples today because people were like, you're crazy, right? And I'm like, just this random tangent, but I had so much energy and people buy your energy. Like they want to be like, okay, well, she looks like she's on crack. I want to feel like I'm on crack, right? Like, and they were like, I want to buy your samples, which I think is hilarious, but like totally random. You never know what's going to come out of your mouth. But I think that's so good. And I love that when you go live, it gets to your, like, it's like your 7th layer of friends, right? Is that the algorithm? It just hits so many people. I don't even know. So that's so good. So I know, like, we shouldn't take the Skinny Brew past like 4 p.m. because you'll just be up all the time. So Lauren, what does a typical day look like for you now? Like what are your what is your daily 6 list? What are your must-do tasks?
Sure. I would love to tell you guys that like I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and I do it all before like the day happens. It's not true. Like not even a little bit at all. I do have like a semi routine of like things that I do in the morning, and then sometimes like life happens throughout the day, and the majority of the business that I do is actually at night. I'm a night owl. And I feel like that's when people come alive and start talking to us. But as far as my 6 list, I post every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day, y'all. Like if you're not posting every single day, like then you're not working the business. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not, okay? So one more time with people in the back, every single day. Even if you need to plan and prep those posts, which is something that I also did early in the beginning when I was really busy. I would plan and prep so I didn't have to think about it in the moment. But sometimes I will make sure that I'm touching multiple pillars or things that I want to make sure that I'm talking about to relate to my network. But you know what? Sometimes life happens and it's 9 p.m. and I'm like, crap, like I haven't posted anything since coffee this morning. And in those scenarios, then I make sure that I make one big post to encompass a multitude or magnitude where I'm talking about the business opportunity in that post and talking about maybe a product that I used that day that I'm still up working at 11 p.m. because Skinny Brew is like crack, and I'm so thankful that I have an opportunity that allows me to work at 11 p.m. because I shopped all day long trying to get ready to go on a trip or what. Like, so I make sure that I'm still dripping my story into it, even if it's only one post. Okay, I'm still dripping a product. I'm still dripping the opportunity, even if it's only one post. But every single day, opportunity, product, and something lifestyle. And then the same content also in my stories. I'm adding newness to my network every single day. That's something that I know we didn't talk. We talked a lot about like how I worked my business being really busy. But I want you guys to know my training. I know Brittany knows my upline really well, but some of you guys, you may have heard from her in another training, but it's Dee Brooks. And we're from the same town. Our network, when we first started, over 75% of my network was hers, and she's a math and ruler, you guys. But this was my training from her, like legit. I have a screenshot. Facebook allows you to have 5,000 friends. Get to 5,000, period. That was my training, y'all. I found out what the steps to success was via Google, and my husband who found it via Google and educated me. But that was my training. And I said, okay, like that was it. So growing my network is 100% what allowed me to move at the speed and rate that I did. And still what I think is a key component for people right now. So I take my network very seriously, both on Instagram and Facebook. There's always newness being added there, as well as intentional interaction with my network. I spend time every single day making sure that I'm interacting outside of my newsfeed. Outside of my newsfeed, because how many of you guys are on your phone every day and you're like, I've been on my phone all day and I don't even know what I've done. I think I'm working, but I don't really know. If you're just scrolling on your newsfeed, then you're just buying into the existing algorithm. You're not owning and creating your own. Okay. You're not adding newness into it every single day. So unless you're exercising that and doing something intentional beyond it, it's going to stay the same. So every single day I'm reaching out and doing that. And then while I'm doing intentional interaction, I'm adding from their network and I'm getting in their inbox about something. about something. I message on Facebook differently than I do on Instagram. Facebook, I utilize for host to post. So every single person on Facebook, and this has evolved over the years, but now the way that I choose to message on Facebook, I send host to post first. The reason for that is because I feel like it's the perfect gateway conversation to wherever they allow me to go. I feel like it's a place that allows me to pivot and then to continue to revisit coming back, as opposed to if I lead with a loyal customer message or even a distributor conversation. I feel like it's sometimes harder for me to be like, oh, would you be interested in the business? No. Okay, would you mind hosting a post for me? I just like to lead with that because I can adjust and pivot better. There was something else I was going to tell you guys. Add to my stories every single day. Stories are the predominant way that I build my business, and where probably 90% of my enrollments come from. Stories, and all day long, some more stories. And that's it. Personal development every single day. I know that that's kind of like a given, and probably the one that people shove off the most often. But whenever there's a lag in my business, whenever I'm feeling uninspired, I can almost always attest it's because I might be doing personal development, but sometimes, you guys, it's not the right time. Sometimes you're reading a book or you're listening to a podcast or you're watching a Zoom because someone told you to do it and you feel like it's the right thing to do, but it's not what your soul and spirit need at that time. And if no one's given you permission to say this before, like, I will give it to you. You don't have to finish reading that book. Like, you don't have to. It's okay. No one's going to judge you. You do be you, boo. If you don't love Girl Wash Your Face, it is okay. Like, you go find what fuels your soul to the point where you don't want to put it down. And I think it's super important that you recognize that there's both personal and professional development. And I have to sometimes assess, like, okay, what's needed of me right now? Like, am I needing to fill up my own cup because I'm lacking belief, because I'm lacking confidence or just content? Or am I needing to level up and become a better leader for my team? Do I need to focus on a professional skill here too? And then birthdays every single day. I send birthdays as another way to get into a new person's inbox every single day. And that's it. That's what I do every day.
Okay. You just hit on so many things. Brittany, did you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to talk. You say something real quick, and then I'll go back to one more question.
I have a couple of questions based off of what you just said. Okay. So first of all, couple of things with you talked about growing basically you work outside of your timeline. Yeah. Your newsfeed, sorry. So talk to us about specifically how you work outside of your newsfeed. And then I also want to know when you are going through and you're messaging these people for host to post, people that you probably have never spoken to before, aside from sending a happy birthday. What do you do when they just totally ghost you or never respond to you?
Yeah. Okay. So I have my Facebook friends list printed. And in different seasons, I print it different ways. Sometimes alphabetically, and then here more recently, I've sorted it the way that you can Instagram now, from oldest to newest friends. So I'll pick a column a day, a page a day, like whatever speed you want to be on. But I'll say, like, okay, this is what I'm working today. And I will hit multiple things with one person. So let's say I go to your profile, you're my person today. I'm going to go to some of your more recent posts and intentionally interact with those. I'm going to give you a compliment. I'm going to ask a question, something to have some sort of engagement with you. If there is nothing on your profile that I can genuinely engage with, like, I'm sorry, but we're not gonna be friends anymore. I unfriend them. People ask me that, well, what if there's nothing to say? Then why are you friends with them, y'all? Unless it's like your Aunt Kathy, like, just unfriend them. It's okay. So intentionally interact. And then I'm also gonna take some of the most recent posts that you've made that have had a strong interaction or a lot of likes, and I'm gonna friend request some mutual friends from those. Why those? Because these are active people. Like, they're actively engaging on social media. So if they're actively working on social media, then they're going to actually engage on mine, as opposed to me just friend requesting the first 5 Amandas on your friends list when I click your friends list. Okay. So intentionally interacting, adding to my network from hers, and then I'm going to inbox you. And my message is just like, hey, Noelle, I don't know if you've seen, but we're doing another $100 PayPal giveaway this Saturday. I don't know if it's for you, but would you be willing to share a post for an entry? Like, that's it. That's my message. And if they don't answer or ghost me, I don't remember because I messaged 100 other people and it doesn't hurt my feelings. If she doesn't want $100, like that's on her. And I go on about my day. That's it.
No, that's so perfect. And you're just assuming that they're going to now be checking out your page. And now
100%. 100%. Yep.
Love.
Yep. Because you're going to be like, what PayPal giveaway? What is she doing? What is she talking about? Like worst case scenario, it's going to drive traffic to the page, right?
Love it.
Yep.
Do you engage in a lot of groups?
Actually, I don't work a lot of groups. I tried groups a lot and I don't know, like maybe I'm not cool enough or something. When I go to friend request them, they don't want to be my friend, which is fine because dude, like it's fine. But no, I don't work a lot of groups.
Okay. I was curious about that. Okay. So Lauren, of course, everybody in here is going for promotions this month. Reload bonuses, Ruby, Emerald, all of the above. Give us some tips to end the month and claim all these promotions.
Yeah. Okay. So this is cliche, but obviously your belief is really important. Okay. So even down to the wire, I want you to remember this when this happens, because there's going to be a moment in this month when you're going to think it's too far away. It's too far gone. I don't have enough time. You need to stop discrediting God. Okay. So go ahead and like mentally prepare for that's going to be a mental roadblock that you're going to hit. And that's not up to you. You gotta dream God-sized dreams to where it feels impossible. So when he steps in, like he undeniably gets the glory. So mentally prepare for that now. It's going to feel impossible. It's okay. It's supposed to. Secondly, you are not going to look back a year from now and miss that 30 minutes of sleep. You're not going to do it. You're not going to miss that extra hour. You're not going to worry about that one, like, judgy Susan that you went to high school with and what she thought of you when you sent that message a year from now, when either you've paid off that credit card, you're taking your family to Disney World, you don't have to work at that job that you hate anymore, you're able to, help your mom retire or something like that. So whatever it is that you're working for, in those moments when you feel tired, when you feel scared, when you're worrying what other people are going to think, when all of those normal fears creep in that kind of paralyze us, just remember what you're working for and ask yourself, will this matter when? And if the answer is no, then just keep going. Just keep going. And I promise that it will pay off. It will pay off. Just know that you're not going to miss those small little moments, and that you can do it. Like you can do it. You're so worthy and able. Just go all in. And I can't wait to celebrate you when you do.
I love that. All right, Noelle, do you have anything else?
Okay. We had a question. Do you pre-screen distributors? And if so, how?
I do have one of the little influencer application things on Instagram. I would not say that I pre-screen. I definitely ask them questions, especially now, with the new, I was having this conversation with someone the other day with the new 6 loyal customers and not being able to move them and not having fast starts. And y'all, I know that some people have figured out their own special ways of making that happen, but take my opinion with a grain of salt. But when they announced that at conference, I took it as a call to action for me as a leader to level up. Yes, part of that might suck for a minute, but why does it really suck? It sucks because I have to work harder now. I have to work harder to ensure that these people who obviously had some sort of goal or desire to change actually finds success. I don't have this safety net now to catch me, or I don't have this thought process of, okay, well, if I enroll Brittany and she doesn't do anything, it's fine. I'll move my 2 customers and get $100. It's fine. I'll sign you up. You just want the kit. It's good. No, it removed that, you guys. So am I having conversations with them and setting very clear expectations like, yo, this is work. This is a job. Yes, I do things like that. But I don't necessarily just have a list. And here's why, you guys, because if someone had asked me on my first day, the day that I said yes, I didn't really know what I was saying yes to. I wasn't really sure like what I wanted to do with it. I was still in the back of my mind thinking like, I just really want this free cleanse. Like, it's going to be fine. Maybe I could make some money, but no one would have pre-screened me and been like, this girl is about to like go VIP, you know? So I think like we don't know the story that like sometimes their story or their life or their why or whatever is going to come after their yes. And sometimes they join and they just have to be exposed to what our culture is or to other people's success for it to say like, okay, maybe this is for me. And it just takes them a little bit of time to get in. So that's my 2 cents on why I do it. But I definitely make sure like before I'm enrolling them, like I'm making sure they understand like this is work, like what is your why, how fast do you want to move, and I'm giving them very clear expectations of what it's going to look like. I'm reading her message now. I've been focused on training my DTs now role. Yeah, same for me, Jess. And I know different people are doing it different ways, and like that's fine to them. But like I said, I took it as this just kind of call to action, like, okay, like I'm going to level up. Like, and not saying that anyone's taking the easy way out, like to each their own. But for me, I know that there have been times in the past 3 years when I've enrolled someone and then been like, it's fine. I got my fast start. And then like went on about my business, right? We are all guilty of that. And this new kind of standard removed that, or at least for me, it calls me to really think about how I'm enrolling.
Okay, so are there people from 3 years ago that you didn't put on your hundreds list that you're like, I should have talked to? I didn't write their name down. I didn't reach out to them at all. And you're like, what do I do? Like, now that you've had all this success, like, are there those people that you feel like you left behind or that you feel like you should reach out to now, even though you didn't back then?
No, you know, and this is terrible. Like, I've never even shared this on a Zoom before. I think one of the reasons why I was successful early on is because I really asked like, even to this day, I'll still ask anyone, but, two of the hardest people for me to ask were, two of my best friends. And, it's really strange. I don't think our friendship ended certainly because of the business. I don't think that at all. Like we had drifted after college and things like that. And life happened. But I will tell you guys this: it still hurts. It still hurts that they didn't want to do it with me. That they don't understand it. They've never become customers. But it's okay. It's okay. Because I don't know what their future or their stories will look like. And although it may not be a path for them or something that they even understand now, it's not my job to do so. You know, I kind of just love them anyway. But no, I do often think, I don't remember what Zoom it was, but someone said something like, probably Jade Hoover. Like anytime that you see someone, you're like, oh, I should go ask them. And you're like, oh no, I don't like, I'm afraid to. Then she said, that was probably your next ambassador diamond. And so my husband will even say that to me now, like if we're at a restaurant or if it's someone on Instagram, he'll be like, oh, no big deal. It's probably just, you know, she's probably just an ambassador diamond. And I think about, there was a training once where Stephanie Dunn in Asheville. Oh no, I think it was Asheville. I don't remember. But she said, for all of you who like build relationships with all these people and you post all the time, I just wanted to thank you for posting for me because you market our business so well. And I go in and I'm willing to ask. And it was like, you know, like straight to the heart, but it's so true. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask. I'm really proud of what I do. And I think everybody deserves what we have. And so although it still hurts sometimes when people I really love or people I know are struggling and I want them to see it or understand it, you know, I know that it's not necessarily part of their plan or path and that that's okay.
Well, and I love that because I've always said, if you don't ask, someone else will.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I actually had that happen in my business probably about 2 or 3 years ago. There was a girl that I had been eyeing on social media. She's from Gastonia, which is about, 15 minutes from us. And I was like, gosh, that girl would be amazing. She'd be amazing at this. But like, I didn't reach out to her. I didn't. And guess what? someone else reached out to her and she signed with them and she went diamond in 30 days.
Insane.
All because I didn't ask. And so that person that you're not asking, yeah, it could be your next diamond, your double diamond ambassador. So yes. So for me now, anytime I see somebody that I'm like, she would be awesome at this, she's going to get a message from me, or he's going to get a message from me. So I love that so much. So, and guys, what's awesome is, especially for like, as far as, people being skeptical and being like, well, the market's saturated. Guys, Lauren lives an hour from me. An hour. D, her sponsor, an hour. Okay. We're all the same rank. So this market is nowhere near saturated. There is so much growth that can still happen. So.
Okay. So Lauren, I know you do host a post for Facebook. What kind of messaging do you do specifically for Instagram?
So 99.9% of the time, opportunity, business, but I also spend a lot of time, I'll go into my stories and I always scroll a good ways because I want to get to a story of someone that I've never seen before or that I don't see regularly. And I'll start watching them there. And so I spend probably 15 to 30 minutes a day. It depends, like if I break it up into like 2 kind of power hours, but where I'll watch like 2 of their first slides or so and make sure that I'm intentionally responding with a question or a compliment, to where I want them, ideally a question, you guys, because you want them to talk back to you. That's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to get them to engage in conversation with me. So I'll go through and I can message so many people in that way. And again, the goal of that is we're driving traffic back to our own page and our own stories, because it's an indirect way of inviting them like into your bubble, into your algorithm, and a warmer way of just building a relationship with them. But then also I will sort my Instagram followers. If you guys don't know, or the people that you follow, they have a new feature now where you can sort from newest to oldest. So I work backward from the people that I've been following the longest and just scroll down. Like whenever I get done working at that point that day, I'll just screenshot and then find that name again. But I will send them a message and it's super simple. It just says like, I will use Noelle's name again because I'm looking at her like, hey, Noelle, I've been following you on here for a while. I always love when I see your posts. I don't know if it's for you, but I'm looking for a few busy whatever you are. If you're a mom, I'm looking for busy moms. If you're a nurse, I'm looking for busy nurses. If you're a teacher, I'm looking for busy teachers. I'm looking for a few busy whatever they are. And if I know where they are, I specifically talk about where they are in Arizona, in New York, in wherever they are. I don't know if it's for you, but would you be open to learning more, or do you know anyone who would? And then I like, that's it. Like that's my message. And the reason why I use that, there's one of my favorite books of all time. It's I'm gonna butcher the name of it. It's called like Influential Speaking and Magic Words, something like that. Hold on, I'll tell you guys the exact name. But it completely changed messaging for me, and started getting me like more responses than ever by switching up just a few different words. One of the phrases being, I don't know if it's for you, but, and are you open to? Psychologically for people, they will respond to those phrases. The book is called Exactly What to Say, The Magic Words for Influence and Impact. And I'll send that to Brittany so she can share it with you guys. You can listen to it on audiobook. It's literally like an hour long. The guy has a cute little Australian accent. It's an easy listen, but make sure you're taking notes because there's so many good nuggets in it. It's gonna like blow your mind and how you talk to people. But it's all about the psychology of how people receive words. And by saying something like, I don't know if you're open to it. Like if I asked everyone on here, are you open-minded? We would all raise our hands because we want to believe we're open-minded. But that's not necessarily saying I'm interested. That's saying I'm open because I'm open-minded. So more people tend to respond to saying, yeah, I'm open to learning more, because the opposite of open is closed, and people don't want to be closed. Same thing, I don't know if it's for you, but we're giving them grace of an out, and they'll typically just lean in and be like, okay, you're already like saying it's okay if it's not for me, but hey, what do you mean? What if it's not for me? I'm going to lean in and listen. And then by giving them their typical objections up front. So I always see busy, because you can't tell me you're too busy for something like this. I'm looking for busy people. And I will say that back to people. They'll be like, oh, if I just had more time. And I'd be like, girl, I'm looking for busy people. Like, did you read it? And so anyway, that's the message that I send. It typically gets a great response. The last message that I sent on Instagram, and this is with newer followers, like I'll switch and go down to the bottom of the list. It's just a good vibes message. It'll say something like, hey, I just came across your profile, wanted to send you some good vibes for the day. Hope you have a good one, something like that. And it almost always gets a response as well. And again, that's with intention of driving traffic back to our page. And those are it.
Oh my gosh, so good. Okay, how are you doing with selling Skinny Brew samples or just samples in general?
Yeah, so Skinny Brew samples did really, really well for me the first 2 weeks. Now that we have this like challenge, it's like the pressure's on, and I'm like, gosh, I've only sold 2. What's wrong with me? But here's what I want to say about Skinny Brew samples, you guys, and it's kind of like I said, well, this is why I went live earlier. And if like I was making posts and I got me 20 Skinny Brew samples last week, that's great. But if it's not getting me 20 Skinny Brew samples this week, then what am I willing to do to switch it up? So I've had to switch it up by doing a live video, by going into my messages and searching the word coffee. Even people that I was talking to last week about the BOGO that didn't order in time, I'm going back to them now. And I marketed Skinny Brew samples. This is a small tip, take it with a grain of salt. I always market the samples as $20 at first. And here's why, because it gives me somewhere to go. I can follow up and say, hey, they're on sale now. It's $15. Did you want to get one? So I have just another reason to go back and talk to those people, or to allow it to feel like there's some urgency there. But then also in stories, I did not a live video, but a video in my stories today talking about samples. I immediately got inboxes, like of people responding. They like swipe up and type in Skinny Brew, just by switching it up, you guys. So if you're doing something and it's not getting you the result you want, then ask yourself, like, what am I willing to do to change it? Am I willing to go do something different, even if it's uncomfortable? So that's where I'm at with Skinny Brew samples right now. I have information to put 3 more in tonight, and hopefully more than that.
How are you doing with converting them to customers?
Well, now that they're going to be getting them first class, praise the Lord. Before I was asking them, every 72 hours if they had gotten it yet. So that was interesting. But you know what? People who are actually getting Skinny Brew, I find that they're almost converting themselves. Like, they really are loving it. They can feel the difference right away. They're loving it. They're pleasantly surprised. Some of them, you might have to coach a little bit and let them know, like, it's okay to make it how you normally make your own coffee. But corporate's done such a great job with us, from the little short video, the little 50-second video that they have, to the marketing of the actual packets. And then what we have in Connect, like, following up and converting has never been easier for us. And I just go in assuming it. Like, hey, have you tried this Skinny Brew? Did you love it as much as I did? Yes, great. You're not going to want to run out. Did you want the 30-day supply for this? Or you can save more when you do a 60-day supply. And then breaking down how much it costs per cup. This is a tip that I got, I think, from Lauren Murphy. I don't remember. But anyway, breaking it down, the price per cup as opposed to just like the total, has gotten a great response for us as well.
Yes, I agree with that. I did that on my live earlier, and it was amazing.
Yeah. People are like, oh, okay. Because when you say, like, if you ask even someone who goes to Starbucks every day right now, if we try to go sell them, okay, it's going to be $125 for your bag of coffee, they're going to be like, no, because they don't think they spend that much. But if you're like, hey, it's $5 a day, then they're like, oh yeah, it's just $5 for my Starbucks coffee. They're not hearing it as this big total when they're buying it every day at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or even a gas station. So when we break it down for them and we're like, oh, it's $2 a day, and they're like, wait a minute, that's more, or that's less than what I'm paying at the gas station, then it kind of puts into perspective for them.
Love that so much. Noelle, you got anything else, girlfriend?
I just love this Zoom. Like, I just love everything about the Zoom.
I think it's been my favorite so far.
I think it's been my favorite so far, which is crazy. We have had some people on, but I'm like, I love your energy. I love your tips. Like, everything's like I don't know, like, it just, I'm super green, so it's like logical in my brain, and I love that, but it's also just like, just do it and believe, right? Like, all of the things. So anyway, I just love this Zoom. That's all. I just love you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I hope that you guys walk away with something tangible to do. You know, like I said, when I first got started, I wanted someone to like tell me what to do. I hope that you got some belief, but then you also got like, okay, I can do these physical things and move the needle forward because you can. You can. And I'm so glad. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. I hope to see some of you guys soon at Pam's.
Yes.
Trip.
Yes, guys. Get to Pam's One Team, One Mission. What's the date, Lauren? The 17th?
The 19th. And is anyone going to be in Arizona this weekend?
We got a couple on here that are. We're gonna have. I know we're gonna have a
Come find me in Arizona, and I'll see everyone else on the live stream. So
thank
you
you
guys so much. Have a great night.
See ya.